When the going gets weird, the weird turn pro on today's Unnamed Real Estate Podcast. Well, howdy there, friends and neighbors. My name is Charles Ray Dawson. I'm the Associate Broker Residential Sales Manager of ProStar Realty. This is the Unnamed Real Estate Podcast, episode 179. And you might be wondering about that little tagline or whatnot that I said at the teaser to this. Well, that is a quote from Hunter S. Thompson. And if you guys don't know who he is, you need to get out of your bubbles, people. Hunter S. Thompson is a guy who wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, a whole bunch of other novels. Most people remember Fear and Loathing from that Johnny Depp movie way back in the day. We can't stop here. This is Bat Country. And I might have watched that one too many times when I was younger. But for some reason, that quote has been popping up in my mind over and over this week. And I just thought it was going to be a really good way to lead this show off because it's a little weird, all right? As the title suggests, we no longer use the term commissions. We are now talking compensation. All right, remember, boys and girls, words have meanings. Words have emotional effect. And since compensation is happy and commissions are bad, we're now going to call commissions compensation so you, the consumer, feel better. No cynicism or sarcasm implied, although it did sort of filter because I'm just a little ball of hate and rage. But it's just one of those things. This has come down from upon high, all right, meaning NAR. And so we're just changing our lexicon up. This is the new normal. I actually, this is going to sound really weird. I never pass up a dictionary. If I'm like walking through a house and I see an old dictionary there, I turn to look and see how far back it goes. It's like, okay, this one was printed in 75, because I find it interesting how the meanings of words change. And as those words change, people lack an understanding of the value and weight that word brings into it. All right. So by changing the word from commission to compensation, you actually lose a certain amount of legal weight. All right. In some stage, you might actually be talking about case law. All right. Case law is things that affect you that because a judge or a jury found it a certain way, and now we describe this as being a requirement of your fiduciary duty, And so when we suddenly start out talking, well, you can't put you can't put commissions on the MLS. Then some smart asshole out there decides, okay, we'll just call it compensation, and next thing we have a compensation requirement. So this is where it starts getting fun, okay? And we have hit the weird stage. Let's cover a little bit of the national news, and we'll hit the numbers, and then we'll wrap this whole thing up. The interest rates, apparently, I missed this because I was doing whatever it was I doing. We had like a rate fluctuation really hard there. Apparently, right after the debate, interest rates like suddenly spiked. Yeah, and remember, interest rates are interesting. Interest rates sit there and, you're loaning money out to somebody and you want a return on your money. And if it's a 30-year loan, you want to know, hey, is this guy going to be alive in 30 years? Are we still going to have a country in 30 years? How long is it going to take me to get my money back? That kind of stuff. And apparently that debate had such an impact on it, like rates just like spiked up. Like, and you can read into this as like, oh my God, he's going to win? Quick. I need more money for my investments now. Or, oh my God, he's the one with the red phone. Oh my God, whatever the reason was that is. But they started to trickle back down, which is, cool and happy for everybody, And I love this bottle, but for it to work, these little, sucky things right here pull in so much air. It's almost like drinking foam. Unless you put your whole mouth on over it, like a little hit pressure on the back of the head, And that way you're not dribbling it down your chin. God, I hope my dad's not watching this episode. Anyway, so we go and we take care of, that interest rate sudden hiccup. And it did have a little bit of activity out there, but then it promptly closed back up a day or two later. Now we're looking at the new thing is, because of inflation and this and that, they are starting to talk about, hey, we are going to get some sort of cut this year. We are going to get it. It's going to be in September when they meet in September. And for anybody who's following this purely for the politics, if you have an interest rate cut in September, by the time that money works its way into the system and starts juicing up the economy, they do that in September. All right, that means you're not seeing closings until October at best, and which means you're not going to be seeing the numbers itself before the election. And I'm almost wondering, as I was thinking about this morning, I'm almost starting to wonder, is that what the Fed was trying to do? All right, just trying not to shock the market one way or the other before the election. I mean, it's really sad that we have to sit there and watch this election, watch all of these elections, just to make sure, hey, what's going to go on with the economy? Do I actually want to buy a house in this state? But hey, there was a reason why people used to like federalism, right? Because when you really didn't care who the president was, because he had very little impact on your life, right? Now things are a little bit more serious. But if we see that interest rate come down, and they're, depending on and it could be anything, you're going to see it kicked off. And here's the cool thing. If you're in the rest of the country, all right, that's when buying time is over. That's when everybody's going into the winter doldrums. Kids are already back in school. All right. Everything that's going on is, it's gone, and you've gone through your summer run. Here in Arizona, we do a little bit different, right? We get hot in the spring, not hot in the summertime. All right. And that activity is when the big surge happens. All right. And it won't start picking back up until right about in the fall. People start getting comfortable getting in a car and driving around, and then everything kicks loose in January again. So we have a rate cut, and then, in September, and those rates stay the same rolling into January 1. Woo, Nelly. Those of us who survive till next year are going to be hopefully having a really good time. And those are the people who aren't surviving now. Well, you ain't going to make it through the next couple months. Let's take a look at these numbers, and I'll explain to you why. So these are the numbers from July 11th, 2024. All right. Starting with our actives are 17,736, down 14. Second week dropping down. All right. Not a lot, but it's dropping down. We're not having the big run up anymore. New listings were 1,526, down 413. All right. Than the previous week, and that's a big surge. Our contracts, 1,751, down 384, and our closings last week were 948, which is down, but that's usually because people try to close, and we had a holiday in there, boys and girls. Remember that. I'm not really worried about those closing numbers too much, but coming soon, 481. That's also trending down. So it's summer. You can definitely see that the run is over. Our supply is at 74.6, okay, which is the same as was last week. All right, demand actually dropped a bit to 75.8, which is putting us at 101.6, and this is a balanced market, boys and girls. Just remember, we have 75 people out there, 76, all right, looking for 74, 75 houses. We're almost 1-to-1 on this, balance across the board. And then when we turn over and we look at individual cities and states and areas like this, Chandler's still leaving the pack but dropping. We only have 3 gainers: Avondale, all right, Queen Creek, and Maricopa. Remember, those are the areas where the good buys were at. And Queen Creek and Maricopa. Buckeyes still falling down. They're down to 61.3. All right, Chandler's still leading the pack at 188.3. All right, Avondale's starting to come up. What's going to happen there? Fountain Hills. All right, they're at 15% less than last month. Other one, Paradise Valley, 15, and Goodyear. Like, I swear to God, all right, you see one of my signs in your neighborhood selling a house, that means we are transitioning into a buyer's market. It's like, I'm always just about a month and a half too late. Yeah, month and two. Yeah, there's a couple times it's like, I literally sit there and go, we really need to get this house on the market now. Well, can we wait a couple months? You can, but it's going to be bad. And then we wait a couple months because they want to move. They want to take their time. They don't want to try to sell the house while they're in it, and next thing you know, they lose the hot market. So that's a me thing. That is something I need to work on. Apparently, I really need to get better at forcefully telling people if you wait a month, it's going to be bad. And I've been doing this for 14 years. I still haven't figured out how to master that conversation. So, hey, that's a me thing, not a you thing. Let's talk what else is going on. All right, so on top of the rate cut, the magical, mystical, one of these days we might actually get a rate cut. Whole bunch of other dynamics thing going on. The fallout from the various lawsuits are working their way through. We just got, this is just a small package of the 18 separate new documents or revised documents that I need to memorize in the next 2 weeks. All right, because we got brand new documents to teach. We got brand new documents that my agents need to know how to explain to you, the consumer, so you can realize, wow, you really should have bought in the spring because you're all screwed now, or sold in the spring because you're all screwed now. But, you know, we now have a compensation agreement between brokers. This is an interesting doc, right? This one needs to be signed by both parties before you even see the freaking house. So guess what, guys? The days of let's go look at houses on Saturday morning, and then 9 o'clock, you know, on a Saturday morning going, can we see these other three? No, you're not going to get to do that because we're looking at a 24 to 48 hour advance notice. All right, so this document can get shot back and forth. All right, at least as we're seeing it right now, okay? Because the way they wrote this thing is literally you need to have signed permission. No longer just pick up the phone. Hey, I want to see this at 9 o'clock. Oh, no. This is a document that needs to be signed. All right. That's the new normal. This is what we wanted, kids. All right. So that document right there is just basically because we can't put the listing on, put the compensation on MLS because you, the buyer, do not know how much of a discount you're getting on this house. All right. Before you even get that discount, it needs to be settled up here before you see it for every house you want to see. So I might not be working with buyers next year, or I might be working with good buyers. All right, the days of let's go look at a couple houses and that might not be there anymore. Okay, we might really and it might just be something that first time buyers, if you want to be a homeowner. First-time buyers, what you need to do is make sure your parents love you more than your siblings and that you're going to get the house. All right? Or we have another document out here. You can just go it alone. All right? This one is the unrepresented buyer disclosure. This is you, the buyer, come into my listing out there in Goodyear and say, I want to buy this house. I'm like, cool. Do you have an agent? Oh, no, I can't afford an agent. Can you represent me? Nah, dog. I don't do dual agency. There's some scummy agents out there who will be happy to do that, but I'm going to have you say, hey, just so you know, you are unrepresented, all right? And we still need to figure out how to deal with the car lot people, because this is what this is. Remember, I've been talking about they want to turn real estate into buying cars. You walk into Peoria Ford, some guy pops up out of nowhere. All right. Hey, how you doing today? Can I show you this, Ford F-150, and he doesn't care what your needs are unless he's just going to sit there and say, okay, what is he looking for? So I can show him what I have that he's looking for. All right. Not what are you looking for? And let me find you the best fit for you. I want to sell you my cars that I have on my lot. This document is what that just turns into. So you show up and you come talk to me in my open house, and I'm like, this is the house, and you sit there and go, can you help me find any other houses? I'm like, well, let's have a conversation. You don't have a real estate agent now. Is that because your preference or because you can't afford one? Oh, no, I really couldn't afford one. I'm sorry, I can't work with you. So, like I said, we're still working these whole things out. So in many cases, I'm going worst case scenario on this, right? And I lost a little bit of sleep last night trying to take Ray's business model and how Ray wants to do real estate, right? Where I work for an individual and I am their agent and I do what's best for them, even if it means I don't get paid at the end of the day. And they might have actually broke the industry enough to where that doesn't exist as a business model anymore. I think as simply as this, I have a wife. All right. She expects me to sort of like haul my water every once in a while and like contribute to the income. I sure as hell know my father-in-law does. Who's okay. So I know my wife does not. All right. Watch this, and I need some therapy, and my father-in-law definitely doesn't, but I am dreading every time I sit down with my in-laws because he starts interrogating me like, why are you still at ProStar? Why haven't you left yet? Why haven't you started your own company? You know, why are you still there? You know? And I just sit there and I start trying to explain to him about basically coffee costs and everything like that. But I'm like literally getting at the point. It's like, yeah, I'm not going to dinner with your in-laws anymore. It's like, I just don't want to spend another 30 minutes of you justify your life, especially when you're trying to explain and answer and people are interrupting you about, oh, I was watching HGTV, right? The other day. Not caring about that. We're talking, it's like we're having a conversation over here, But yeah, just a little rant to say, thank you guys for being my therapist. So but back to work. I'm really not sure what the new normal is. This is fun and exciting. Okay. Seriously, this is such a huge upset in the industry right now. All right. This industry is getting so disruptive that dinosaurs are walking around trying to figure out, hey, who turned off the heater? All right. And they haven't figured it out yet. Right. And so I honestly think whoever figures out how to make a model of this work properly is going to survive and make bank. So this one, like I said, new normal. What else is going on? Buyer broker agreement to show property. Okay. This one right here is a one-time agreement to show a property at one time. We're not sure if this thing needs to be filled out for each property. All right. Or a traditional buyer broker agreement where I'm going to work with you for a period of time. But this almost looks like that equivalent of that Zillow form that Zillow came up with that I was ranting about a month or so ago. Where, oh yeah, this does everything. And this one's just going to clear out. So this is like, oh, and by the way, this is legal, okay? I hate to tell you this, but the days of, hey Ray, can we go see this house? I just want to see it. I mean, but we're friends. Can you just go show me this pretty kitchen? It's like, all right, you're signing this, because if that agent on the other side calls me up and say, hey, what do you think of the property? Da 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 da, and they find out, oh yeah, we were just looky-loos. He can say, send this to me, right? Or we're going to trespass you. You guys wanted this. This is the new normal. All right. So yeah, the days for just looking at houses for fun. Sorry guys, we're not doing that anymore. I have a workaround. We'll talk later. All right. Now, here's the buyer-tenant employment agreement addendum. All right. We're talking about how things get canceled. We're going to modify the broker compensation. We have a buyer-broker agreement. All right. I'm showing you houses at 3%. You are guaranteeing that I'm going to be getting 3%. We're going to try to get something out of the other side. We're always going to put down, hey, we want 3% closing costs on this. And when they say, why do you need it? Say, none ya. All right. But we're asking for 3. What are you paying? We're not going to pay anything. I didn't have anybody help me when I bought my house back in 1965. I don't know why I need to help these damn kids and these whippersnappers, And I bought my house for $39.95 from Sears and Roebuck's catalog. It came to me in a box, and I built it on this land, and it's mine, damn it. And now my real estate agent tells me it's worth $3.5 million, and I'm going to get every damn penny out of that. And so I'm like, okay. Geezer over here is sitting there saying he's not going to help you out, first-time home buyer, for this new house. And we got to figure out how to come up with the other 3. And, of course, we're scratching every little thing in. So this one actually looks like so we can amend the agreement afterwards where it's like, hey, I love you guys. We've been looking hard. I know this is your dream house. We wrote down 3. These guys are not even anywhere close to that because of the closing costs and the lender that you needed to work with instead of my lender. You just found out your rates are ridiculously through the roof, but you still want the house. Your cash to close, you're missing it by this much. I can use this addendum here. All right, to maybe help you buy a house by cutting my compensation. All right, Does Ray do this? Yeah, I've done this before a couple times, right? Only for very good friends, and literally because the other side said, yeah, your friends don't get the house unless you cut your commission. And so, yeah, I did that. And you know what? I never told my friends. And so all of you friends out there who might be former clients of mine, you might be the person that I gave money up to so you could live in that house. So think about that. Show me some love. Send me some referrals, all right? Let's see. What else we got going here? Seller compensation addendum. All right. So we can add that on. Sale, full purchase price or whatever. Lease. Check if applicable. Pursuant to separate written agreement, broker has agreed to compensate buyer broken amount of X. All right. The full purchase price, which is independent of and in addition to the compensation in this addendum. Oh, cool. So now we're really, really clearing it out. Remember, the original business model was you pay me to sell your house, and if somebody else shows up with a buyer and wants to work with that buyer, I will give them a piece of my paycheck for helping me out by finding me a buyer. But because there was a bunch of dumb agents out there who were not trained by their dumber brokers, all right, about how to articulate that, this whole thing spun up. So, all right, what else do we got on this? We now have a tenant broker exclusive employment agreement. So if you were out there thinking, hey, Ray, can you show me a rental and stuff like that? Guess what? Okay, there you go. You can't rent a place for the next 16 months, next 6 months without making sure I get paid. So, yeah, real estate agents, we're not working with renters anymore. Or renters aren't going to be working with real estate agents anymore. And honestly, I can't tell you how many times that would have been useful when I killed 3 weekends of my life only to, at some point, start negotiating a lease with somebody and then suddenly have my person ghost me and look them up and find out, oh, no, we found a place last weekend. We just walked in and signed. All right, so I am hyper caffeinated today, and this is actually tea. And it is Thursday, and we're just rocking and rolling. I just really wanted to get this out. So if I seem a little manicky and stuff like that, it's mostly the caffeine and lack of sleep last night and everything. I'm still ultimately very, very excited about these things because I am excited for these changes purely for Ray. I think you, the consumer, are screwed. All right. If you listen to the real estate YouTube channels that I listen to, every professional real estate agent understands you're screwed, guys. All right. But nobody actually listened to us. All right. Instead, you listen to everybody else. You listen to NAR. All right. So I am very sorry. This is a new normal for me and my fellow agents who like to make a living doing this and like helping people. All right. NAR just made it a lot harder on us. And if they have a problem with that, file the Article 15 paperwork. We'll take it. All right. We can start that. I've hit that point in this whole process. All right. All right. This is how this is what's going to happen. I am never, ever going to say, hopefully, actually, I should never say never. In the first words of one of the greatest movies of all time, I believe in America. Now, the person who said that later on as a mob boss to take care of a problem for him, okay, but I really do believe home ownership is huge. All right. I know there's a lot of people out there who don't believe that. I know there's a lot of people with sour grapes. All right. And I know there's a lot of people who just, they just want to watch the forest burn. All right. And having this process that built up over almost 100 years now, all right, to make it so people could affordably own their own house, get chipped away by short-term thinking, all right, and politicians and grifters, all right, to make it to the point where we had a beautiful system where people could not be discriminated against based solely on their sex, race, or anything else, because a contract is a contract is a contract, and you never knew the race, creed, or color of the person on that contract, that's all gone. All right, because now we're having straight up one-on-one conversations. It's not a blind contract anymore. It's suddenly you as the buyer have to disclose a whole lot more information beforehand. All right, and you're going to see people going, well, if they can't pay for their own agent, they're obviously not worthy of living in my neighborhood. Right. We've had that problem before in the past. VA loans. You know how many times I have a veteran ask me, are they turning us down because I'm a veteran? And I have to answer, they're turning us down because you're using a VA loan. Oh, and by the way, they did have enough Grateful Dead shit in their listing. Yeah, it could be that. All right. But there's no way we can prove that, and there's nothing we can do because veteran status is not, one of the people you can't discriminate against. But I've had that conversation. Yes, I have. All right. So now we're getting to the point that basically the people who do want to discriminate against other people, we've stripped away some of the last barriers to that. Right. Now the only thing that they have now is enforcement. And the person who could defend the buyer, being the buyer's agent, is now going to be out of the picture because we've just basically, if you can't afford to pay for a buyer's agent to protect you and your rights and protect you in this transaction, you got to go out there unrepresented. All right. Which is actually going to be really interesting because now that's more exposure to the listing agent. Because if I'm the listing agent, there's sometimes I never see the agent on the other side. I never see the buyer on the other side. I never see the seller. I have no idea who they are. And that's actually beneficial for everybody. All right? So if you have, and just in case you think I'm being hypothetical about this, this morning, all right, as I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, and I'm watching my, going through my Facebook listings and looking at pictures of cats and stuff like that. One of my realtor pages came up and said, I got a referral and I just lost it because I was not the right skin color. How are you getting past this, people? All right. 97% of the people on there said, oh, we're just going to, we just go find the next one. Hey, but that's the consumer making that choice. They wanted a particular skin color of their real estate agent. They made that decision. Okay. And a consumer hiring an agent, yeah, dirtbag thing to do, but they get to do that. But now that same person now gets to say, and now that I've gotten my house, I get to choose who I sell it to. And just for the record, if you're sitting there going, oh yeah, that sounds like something that those people would do, you are those people. All right, because I did not specifically state the skin color that particular buyer was looking for. Now let's just say it was anything but one skin color. So what can we do? All right, this is the future I'm looking at. I'll look at it for you. I'll watch the future for you. So you do me a favor and watch your children or pets around water. We lost another child this week. Come on, people, work with me here. We might see monsoons. All right. Apparently, we did have a major flood downtown because somebody screwed up irrigation in my neighborhood again. All right. So flooded. No, actually, check for that. Don't even drive into flooded stuff in downtown Phoenix. Every once in a while, you think, oh, that's just irrigation water, and it's like 2 feet worth of death pit. All right. And as always, work your circles. Okay. And what that means in a nutshell is, if you can't have an impact on it, don't sweat it. Don't sweat the petty stuff, and don't pet the sweaty stuff. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day.